there, booktube. Welcome back to my channel. It is 2017 and I am so excited to launch my first ever book club. This book club is going to be called the 2017 book club. The book club idea came about because a lot of people asked me about my reading challenge last year and said things like, that's a cool challenge, I'd like to try that. I wish I could read 100 books in a year. And so I decided that maybe in a community of readers that we would push each other to read more. When there are several people reading the same book that you're reading, maybe it's a little incentive to help you read more and to read faster and to accomplish that goal of reading more books per year. So for my 2017 book club launch, I decided to create three categories. So for the 2017 book club, I decided that I would include three categories of readers. Because I do believe that there are three categories of readers. In the first group, you'll read 17 books, second group, 51 books, and in the third category, 6 times 17 books. At different points in my life, I have been one or another or the other category of reader. And so I decided to highlight those different categories and allow people to read at their own pace, but also to enjoy the camaraderie of being a part of this book club. So the 2017 book club, like I said, has three categories. The first category of readers will read 17 books. 2017, 17 books. Category number 2 will read 3 times 17, which is 51 books. And category number 3, which is my category, my personal challenge, will be to read 6 times 17, which is 102 books in 2017. For this 2017 book club, you can either read 17 books, 51 books, or 102 books like me. That is my goal for 2017. Throughout the year, I'll be recommending both fiction and non-fiction books because I do believe that we get different kinds of mental stimulation from reading both kinds of books. So as I recommend these books, if you are reading them, if you have read them, then I'll invite you to comment on one of my videos and to share your thoughts, share your ideas with the other readers who are also participating in the book club. In 2017, there are several kinds of nonfiction books that I'm going to be suggesting, especially for the readers who are completing the 17 book challenge. I would recommend that you include some of these books in your reading. George Clason, The Richest Man in Babylon is one of my favorite books. It is a book that I read for the first time last year, but it has shot up to be one of my favorite nonfiction books. It is a very short book. It is very short, very small, and it is only 192 pages, but the pages themselves, each page just has a couple of paragraphs. In this book, George Clason talks about the reasons that people either acquire wealth or don't acquire wealth, and he gives us information in story forms, fictional stories that are based in ancient Babylonian times, but with lessons that you can apply to your everyday life. And I read this book, like I said, for the first time last year, but since I read it, I have recommended it to several people. And so I felt like starting a book club, I should recommend this also to you. I'm also recommending Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. This was my introduction to Malcolm Gladwell. This is the book where he outlined the 10,000 hour theory. And 10,000 hours is the amount of time that Gladwell says that you need to invest in practicing some craft, practicing some skill in order to become an expert. He refutes the idea of people being born geniuses and speaks instead about how we can improve our abilities, improve our skills by just investing this amount of time in actual practice towards some craft. And this is a book where he looks at geniuses, how much time they invested in their craft, the time in which they were born, their birth order, the period in the year in which they were born, and just how those different factors affects a person's ability to be a skilled athlete, maybe the person becoming an innovator in their time. He uses these factors and analyzes people like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, and this is the book where he did all of that, and that theory has become, I think, kind of revolutionary. There are many instances in other nonfiction books and in pop culture where people talk about that 10,000 hour theory. It all started with this book, and so this book is a book that I have recommended to several people, and so I'm also recommending it to you to include it in your reading this year. Other nonfiction books that I am recommending: The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. I haven't read this book yet. This is on my list for reading this year. This is on my to be read for 2017. I'm currently reading The 80-20 Principle by Richard Koch. It is a look at how much of our effort actually yields results and how understanding that relationship can help us work less and achieve more. So this is a book that I'm currently reading, and I'm recommending it to you, my book club members, as well. Like I said, I think that we should also read fiction, because fiction stimulates creative thought. It just does. There are words, there are sentence structures, there are things that there are vocabulary words that we don't often get from nonfiction reading that we get from fictional reading. There's a quote by George R.R. Martin that talks about how readers get to live 1,000 lives. And I believe that in order to really fully experience those 1,000 lives, you have to read fiction. And so I'm including this as my first fiction recommendation. I haven't read this book yet. I just received it in order to write a review, but this is a book that I requested because I really wanted to read it. This is a modern retelling of Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice. It is entitled Shylock Is My Name, and it is by Howard Jacobson. This printer, Hogarth Books, has been publishing a lot of Shakespeare retellings in modern writings, and they have been using a lot of famous, well-acclaimed writers. Like this Howard Jacobson has previously won the Man Booker Prize, and so he's been commissioned now to rewrite Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice for modern times. And so this is my first fiction recommendation to you, my book club members. There's another book that I also have on my TBR that is similar. It's called Hagseed, I think, by Margaret Atwood, which is a retelling of The Tempest. You'll probably see that on my recommendations a little later in the year. So right now, I've given you a fiction recommendation and 4 nonfiction recommendations. I hope that you'll include these in your reading this year so we can talk about them. I've never run a book club before, so I'm really excited to learn about this process with you and to share this reading challenge with you in 2017. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you'll sign up. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you are indeed signing up for the book club and if you're going to be reading one or all of these books that I recommended here today. So thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.